Hello and welcome to the Bang Broski Podcast. Most people are not living their life. They're watching someone else live theirs and calling it inspiration. They wake up, open their phone, and spend their first 20 minutes of the day inside someone else's highlight reel. And then they wonder why they feel behind. That's not motivation, that's a trap. And the trap is perfectly designed.
And here's the irony, like you probably found this podcast because of a hook or a title or a thumbnail, something that made you stop scrolling. So we know exactly how that works. We have been on that side as well. So let me just say this upfront. What are we doing right now? So we are trying to rage baiting you into never getting rage baited again. And you're welcome.
You're welcome. That's great, Vinayak. Nice to have you. And hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Mick. I'm 25. During the day, I'm just a finance guy counting numbers and looking at spreadsheets. But at night, I write on the Liberation Letters, which is designed to help you break the social programming, tap into your identity, and build yourself from bottom up to just go back to your beginnings and help yourself build identity that will help you have the life that you want to live. And off to
Yeah,
you,
I'm
Vinayak.
Vinayak and I have a full-time job. I work as a biomedical researcher. And on my side, I run the newsletter called the Sustainable Solopreneur on Substack. And it's a newsletter about building income alongside your 9 to 5 job without losing your mind or, your precious time. And I've tried a lot of things and, most of it failed. Some of it worked and some of it made money, but none of it was the answer that I was looking for. And right now I'm 5 months into my newsletter business and almost 4 to 5 years of various experiment on the side, and I'm still employed, still building and still figuring it out. So yeah, that's about me.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Really, you really love the sustainability part of life, don't you? That's what we need. At the moment, there's this current notion of just optimization and doing everything optimized, but I like being sustainable more than optimizing because sometimes optimizing isn't. Even though I think there are correlated a little bit, sustainability and optimization, but I feel like sustainability gives you a bit of more freedom to actually enjoy life instead of following routines for the sake of just following routines. But yeah, this whole podcast is more about you. Our core statement is don't follow us, follow yourself, because this is more about you than it is about us. We want to help you build what you want. We would just share our stories and our tips that helped us grow and build build everything that we've already built and get you out of the consumption trap, because at the moment I think a lot of us are stuck in that consumption trap where you think you need more information, you need to find out and figure out certain things before you can actually start doing what you're meant to do, because at the end of the day only doing is doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a name for what Mick is describing over here, and it's what is called as survivorship bias. And the only people you ever hear from in this space are the ones who made it, and you don't hear it from the thousands of people who still followed the same exact blueprint and got nothing back, nothing out of it, and they're not posting about it. So your brain just looks at one winner and assumes, like, the traditional blueprint works for everyone. But the truth is it doesn't work for most people. It may have worked for some people, it may have worked for one person, in one particular context. I mean, we don't know what resources or what situation was going on for that one particular person, and now, like, it's being sold to you as kind of an universal truth.
Yeah, it's actually pretty sad how the very people that are meant to help us help themselves, and they package it in a way so that we feel productive and we feel like we're changing our life, but actually the only thing we're doing is giving them money whilst we stay in the same place we were, but now with less money. I mean, it is pretty upsetting, but that's what we're against. We want to give you what we know, our freedom, and package it in a great way so that you go and do something instead of constantly consume, because that's what we're against. We don't want you to just sit here and listen to us and feel inspired and motivated to do something, but instead of using that to actually build your business or whatever your goals are, you feel the need to consume. So yeah, that's what we're all about. And to just give more background as to who we are, I'll go first. And I spent about 8 years in analysis paralysis in terms of reading loads of books. I always felt like I don't have enough information, or that I'm not credible enough, because I felt like I didn't have any qualification that would signify to other people that, oh, look, I've spent 10 years at uni studying this, so you should listen to me. I didn't feel like I had any authority. So all I did was just constantly consume anything I could possibly find that would help me find the information that I can then build upon. But what I've learned over the last year, that only doing is doing. You don't swim by watching someone swim or by reading about swimming. You actually have to go in the swimming pool and just swim. It won't be beautiful at first. You might lose your balance, but that's how you learn. You learn by doing, not by reading.
That's awesome. My story is kind of similar. I have been working for like last 3-4 years, and along the side, I have been chasing every possible side hustle dream out there. And I spent like almost 4 to 5 years chasing all those gurus, all those playbook, and every time a new platform emerged or a new course emerged and new strategy, so I was just running behind it like a rat on a cartwheel, right? And every time the ending was the same. I kept burning out, and it wasn't like I wasn't working hard enough or something, but I was working hard on wrong things in the wrong order and for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
And so, I mean, what nobody told me, which I had to figure it by myself, was that I was building the business first and trying to fit my life around it. And that is completely backwards, because you want to know like why most side hustles die in the first 6 months, because it's not about the strategy, it's about the architecture, because the architecture is kind of the foundation, and this whole business thing is built on a foundation that doesn't fit the person who is building it. So, I mean, to give an example, like I was running a YouTube channel, a lot of YouTube channel actually, but it's kind of a business where you have to constantly posting about it, right, on a daily basis. So, but it did not fit my daily life because I had a demanding job. I mean, so the entire foundation and the entire architecture was wrong. So yeah, but I'm into writing. I'm into publishing newsletters now, and I talk about personal branding, AI tools, solopreneurship, and the mindset and productivity hacks. And like for the first time, it doesn't feel like I'm fighting with myself every day. I mean, it's not like that I found some magical strategy out here, but just came from the right foundation and for the right reasons.
Oh yeah, man, no, that sounds good. And that's where we want everyone listening and watching this to be in a position where they can say that they have that ease of mind, and they do what they want to do, and they don't feel any pressure or any external force that they need to be doing. They do things because they want to do. And we hope that everyone watching this will be inspired to follow their dreams and do things for themselves instead of doing the things that other people want of them. And just to give more detail as to what each of us will bring to the Bang Broski podcast, I will be responsible for more of the inner self. So I'll be looking at the psychology, the neuroscience, and the subconscious mind, because I am very fascinated about how we work as human beings. I find the cognitive processes of a brain really fascinating. So I'll be explaining why we do certain things in certain ways and why some things don't work for some people, whereas it will work for others. Because I think whilst we're very different, we are the same at the same time. And the blueprint might be different, but as you said, the architecture is always the same. And if we get that right and we lay the foundation properly, I think everyone has the same chances to achieve any of their goals. And if you could do, if you could say what you will be talking about, Vinayak, that'd be great.
Yeah, so if Mick is the philosopher asking all the uncomfortable questions, I am the guy in the lab running all these experiments and reporting back on what actually broke and what actually worked. But yeah, just to give this disclaimer, we are not the gurus. We are more like two people on the same clinical trial who are just comparing notes and all the data that's working out for us currently. And that's what this show is about. So we are not going to agree on everything. We are just going to figure it out real time in front of you. And that's the whole point of this podcast.
And I think you touched on something great there. We're not always going to agree. I think I don't really know what has gone wrong in the world, but people are so afraid of saying an opposite opinion just to not offend someone, or they feel like they shouldn't say something to offend them. But I think this will be a great podcast because we're not scared to say an opposite opinion, because that's what this is all about. There are no universal truths. There are different ways of doing the same things, and that this is what it's all about. Sharing different ways, different perspectives. Whereas something might work for me, it might not work for you, and similarly, something might work for you and it won't work for me. But there will be always things we can connect that we both agree on, and anyone can build upon that. So, as you probably noticed, we keep going back to this one theme, which is to follow your path, because this is what life is all about. Because of all these gurus that are out there and are telling you what to do, we think that success is only one thing, whereas it isn't. There is no blueprint to success. There are guidelines, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be guiding you and telling you what you could do. But at the end of the day, it's all about you, and you have to figure out for yourself. So take our advice, test it, experiment it, go back to your own lab and experiment with it. Mix chemicals, see where it takes you, because this is what it's all about. You have to build your own version of success, because if you follow someone else's version of success, it's just not sustainable, and you won't be happy at the end of it, because you put in so much work, so much effort, so many years, only to realize that this wasn't what you actually wanted. So the core idea of this podcast is to make sure you follow your dreams, and we will help you do that by giving you certain advice that have helped us. But at the end of the day, you need to be taking the steps. Don't just consume, digest that information, and then do something with it.
Yeah, so just to add to make stop measuring your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. That's all the social media depicts. The highlight reel of some person who is further ahead of you, and you are consuming it every morning before you even had your coffee, right? So and somehow you're just left wondering why you feel behind before the day has even started. So I mean, the information is not the problem here, because we have access to information in this AI era, and still people are stuck. And so I think it is safe to conclude that the information was never the problem. The problem is the gap between knowing and doing, and no amount of content closes that gap. No amount of course or any guru advice will close that gap. So only going out and doing it for yourself will close that gap. So yeah, I mean, the takeaway thing is shape it ugly, see what happens, take the feedback. That's the whole feedback loop, and that's the whole real education. Not the course or not the guru advice or not even this podcast. And yes, like I'm aware of this irony. We made a podcast to tell you that podcasts are the answer. So we are just closing on that note, and next week we are going deep on the life first business. And my argument regarding this point is, most side hustles are built in the wrong order. People shrink their life to fit the business instead of designing the business around their life they actually want. So that one structural mistake is behind most of the burnout and most of the failed businesses. And yeah, I mean, Mick might have a pushback on that part, but I genuinely don't know how the conversation will end. But that's the kind of whole point of doing this. So follow the show whenever you listen, and we'll see you next week.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll find out next time if I push you back on it or if do I agree. Who knows? We can only find out one way. So thank you very much for listening and watching, to those watching. And you are listening to the Bang Broski Podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you.